All right, let's travel through time. All right, let's get into this session right here. So, what do you think these are? Best guess.
No idea. It looks like a keyhole for giants.
Keyhole. Keyhole for giants.
No idea.
Okay. No, is that final answer?
Yeah.
It's actually a Roman bathroom. Yeah. So basically how these work. So this is during the Roman time, and I'll run you kind of through this. So what they're sitting on is this is a public restroom that everybody pretty much congregates. This would be like in market squares. This would be like all different types of places. And so how it works is there's running water. They had like, you've heard of like the aqueducts and stuff like that. So there's running water that goes underneath all of the toilets, and basically that's the hole that they basically fit in. And so you know how you women love sharing bathrooms? Well,
Not like that.
well,
Not
imagine
like
sharing
that.
it with 30 other people. So
For one, it looks like they have like a scoop for the water. I'm assuming bidet sort of vibes. To have to sit there and clean your booty hole, or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, let me not use that. To clean your balloon knot in front of a bunch of freaking people, like that's so, like I want to say embarrassing, but that's not quite the word I want. That's so like,
here, you're actually going to be more shocked. So basically how it works is, so imagine you're in a room. So the larger rooms had like 30. Even some of the largest ones had like upwards of like 60
No
bathrooms.
way.
And the best part is men and women share the same restroom. So there's zero dividers, there's zero privacy. So you ladies that love to have barriers between you and fellas, we're all in the same room together. So imagine like you're right next to, you could be sitting right next to a guy and he could be sitting right next to you.
that makes me like truly uncomfortable. Like I have goosebumps thinking about how uncomfortable that would make me. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Yeah, and then basically the way it works is there's two holes. So there's the top hole that they basically you use the bathroom in, and then that front notch you see right there.
Yeah.
That notch is so that like it's pretty genius, honestly. You can pretty much, instead of standing up to wipe,
Stick
you can go and use that hole as like the front
With your little
pocket.
spoon, your water spoon.
Exactly. And so of course
Oh, I don't know. That feels like there's a certain feeling I get when I touch the shower liner on the inside. Sometimes, like I feel like that would give me the same vibe. If I touch that, ew.
Well, that's not even the only thing. Basically, so tissue obviously wasn't invented back then. So take a guess what they used.
Water.
Yes, but so they're called tessoriums. So that was the main thing. So you see those things in their hands right
Yeah.
there? So they are basically a stick with a sponge at the end.
Oh, it's even worse than a spoon. It's even worse than a spoon.
So
Ew.
so you use that sponge to basically wipe your.
I feel like I can smell it. I'm losing it. I
But
feel like I can smell
we didn't
it.
even get to the best part. So not everybody gets their own stick. It's actually a communal sponge.
I have to go.
It's a communal sponge. So pretty much, you could be using
And they
it.
didn't have bleach. Like,
Hygiene wasn't really something that was like thought of as much back then. So you're basically a communal sponge. So you could be getting done using one of these things, and the guy next to you is like, "Hey, can you pass me the sponge or something like that?" Yeah. So the sponge is basically
you about
something.
to get dysentery.
Well, here's
like,
here's the thing. If you don't want to use the sponge, there's another method, which other people who opted not to use the sponge method, they used something called like basically of a seashell. So it's basically they used rocks. And so, yes.
I'd rather use a leaf of poison ivy.
So don't complain about single ply guys,
I'd
because
rather
these
use-
guys are using rocks
Did they
to
have
wipe.
soap back then? Like the Romans? They had so much dope things.
I don't know. I haven't even looked into that. But
Because if they had soap, I'm taking a bar of soap and I'm just like rubbing it up in there. You know what I'm saying? At least before I use that sponge, maybe before and after I use that sponge. Can you imagine? Like, imagine when you're when you're cleaning like scrambled eggs out of a pan and it gets all stuck in the sponge. Imagine. I can't even say it. I feel, oh.
Well, so you could, you could rinse off the sponge. I think those little things in the middle, like with the water.
Imagine the
sources.
person beside you. So the water's flowing this way, right?
Yeah.
And you're trying to like get your sponge all clean, so then you clean yourself. And I'm cleaning out my nasty sponge. I'm gonna start calling people like sponge. You sponge. Shut your mouth.
It's
Nobody want to hear from
disgusting.
you.
No, it's literally disgusting. And so let's say like you're using rocks to wipe your ass. I could basically imagine like you going into the doctor and you're like, he's like, what's wrong? You're like, I've got lacerations on my ass. I wiped too hard, basically. So you could easily be using like a rock and just like scrape up your, like, you know how single ply sometimes hurts so much? Dude, imagine a whole rock.
If you've ever cut yourself shaving down there, it'd be like that times like 1,000, I feel like. And then it's a dirty rock probably too. At the very least, it's got poop particles on it.
I don't understand how these people
So what, you're
would do it.
infected? And then another thing is they didn't have hygiene and they wore whatever the hell they were wearing and they didn't have clothes washers. So they just smelled bad up in there anyways. So then imagine they're all 60 people in there with their pants down, all their stank just floating around.
Oh, you're right.
And then the poop and then all the pee. Like, oh.
Yes, you're actually completely right on that because the rooms weren't properly ventilated. So yeah, you basically anything that's going through there, and it's just running water, so it's not like an actual plumbing system that's taking it. So yeah, there was like records of people, you know, they were like, they talk about how bad like the public restrooms smell.
Guarantee you that was worse.
Oh, and that's not even the worst part. So there's
I'm putting
you gotta
someone, if I don't
understand-
like someone, I'm following them into the bathroom and I'm putting them in that box. I'm talking about a swirly.
wait.
That's the worst swirly you've ever thought of in your life.
that's disgusting.
You're done. And there's no baths. It sucks to suck, brother.
That sucks. Basically, the only other thing, that's not the only thing you had to worry about when you're in there. So because those were open, it's like obviously like a sewer almost. So there were rats and other creatures that lived inside of the sewers. And so you have stories of people accounting like things like octopus coming out of one of these holes.
What?
Yes, you've got other guys.
Where is Rome at? Because where the F is I'm so sorry.
By them, so there's the ocean. That certain places in Rome were right by the ocean, so you have like opportunity for like creatures to get through the water, and all that water traces out to the ocean and stuff like that.
I feel like that GIF of the girl where she's trying to do the math and there's like equations. Because where was Rome? I feel like public school failed me. I don't know where Rome.
Okay, so Rome is in Italy. Do you know where Italy is?
Yes.
Okay, so Rome is basically like somewhere towards like the northern middle kind of thing.
Of the boot. Middle of the fucking boot.
But Romans controlled all of that area, all of Italy.
Yeah.
So it's the capital, and so you had places. These are restrooms all over.
And they got them little suctions. Imagine you're sitting there trying your hardest, like concentrating, because there's people around you and you're uncomfortable, and something suctions to your booty cheek. Just imagine the scream I scrumped is how that story would go.
Literally. And like, so the other part is so the other thing is like, okay, so you've got also situations where you have guys that have stories
Are
of like
creepy?
snakes, where they have snakes that are coming out of there as well. And even circumstances where like the rats or snakes have like bitten people's balls. So like imagine like a little rat or like a snake being like, oh, I'm a bit peckish right now. He's like, ooh, those look good.
Look at this ham. This lovely Christmas ham.
So yeah, dude, imagine like getting up and you're just like, ah!
Oh my. Oh. And then if it's a mouse, like the diseases and stuff. Wow.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
dude, there's all different types of stuff. And I could not imagine a snake literally biting my balls. Like the little Ratatouille. Like imagine a little Ratatouille. He's like controlling you. Like
He's pulling on
he's
your
like
balls.
pulling on your balls instead of your hair, and you're just like moving around the toilet, and you're just like swinging the thesaurium around and just smacking people with like your little dookie sword, just smacking people around.
Dookie sword.
Oh my god,
Oh,
dude. I could
no.
not imagine that. So yeah, That is
No.
so it gets even worse. So listen, so it gets even
How?
worse. So there's actually situations routinely. So when you poop and stuff like that, you release gases. Okay, there's methane. There's other types of gas that are released. So in Roman times, because those tunnels and basically where all the running water, gas used to build up all along those. So there would be like random in routine like explosions.
Of shit water?
No, just like actual explosions with flames. So like flames sending flames out of the seat.
What?
So you've got to worry about the hygiene. You've got to worry about rats
God.
biting your balls, and then you've got to worry about the flames. Basically, like you could be sitting randomly and like your cat's on fire. Or you,
If
like,
that's not the
explodes.
most Final Destination thing that you've ever heard of in your life,
Exactly, dude. I can't even.
you went from a
imagine.
ham to a rotisserie chicken real quick.
Yep. Dude.
Oh my God.
It's not. It's you got to think about it. Like, dude, we're so lucky. I couldn't even imagine like trying to go like public restrooms today are nasty.
There was
enough.
one time I took a trip for the weekend and I could not the entire weekend until I came back, and I ate a bunch. So I was like just 5 months pregnant. I ate a bunch, could not do it because I was uncomfortable.
'Cause you can't-
So sitting in a room like that with a bunch of people, didn't Elvis die because he couldn't like shit? He was constipated.
What?
I'm pretty positive he died on the toilet, but I'm telling you that's the way I'm going out because I
people
cannot
in the
do
chat,
that.
I need you to confirm on that. I
Yeah,
did
am
not
I
know that
dumb?
was
Is the blonde
exact-
doing the blonde thing? I think it was because he was doing so many drugs, it like constipated him, and he went out on the toilet. And I think
Okay.
I know enough that it was like I can say it was like the upstairs toilet or like something weird.
Okay, well, death by is not a good way to go
And
out.
that's how I'm going out because no.
Okay, so with Elvis aside, we've got more. So there are situations basically where like obviously you've got you really have like a whole death trap, booby trap situation,
Truly.
how these bathrooms are set up, and like besides the smell and everything. So people opted for not using these public restrooms. So
Elvis Presley.
so the thing is like, so a lot of people preferred going out in the open. So there's like good evidence that shows that people, when they really had to go, they just went wherever was convenient.
Ew.
So you had men that would go in alleyways. You had guys that would pee in like public fountains,
Oh!
statues, like all different types of stuff.
Menace to society.
Hey, I'm sure
off
women.
with his head.
I'm sure women.
off with his
pretty
head.
much.
Get your booty hole off my microphone.
Goodbye. So yeah, you could imagine like other situations where like you can just see somebody randomly like pissing or like taking a like in an alleyway or somewhere random.
I'm popping a squat. If I gotta go bad enough, I'm not going out there. I'm gonna find a big tree or like a building or something where there's no people.
But you're in the city. What are you gonna do? There's no trees. It's like, think about Rome, massive sprawling city.
They didn't have trees.
I'm
We're
sure
in a
they-
city and there's
I'm
trees.
sure they had some trees, but like I think like let's say you're in the city center or you're in the marketplace or something. It's not like there's sprawling trees all over the place. I feel like there's a bunch of buildings and stuff around, right?
I all the time say that I'm a rat girly. I'm scurrying off somewhere and I'm finding somewhere where I'm by myself and I'm in a little tucked away hole. Like some parents know when their kid is pooping because they're like tucked away in a corner or somewhere. That's me. I'm hiding. Or there's gonna be like two people that I shit with all the time because we go like at night to try to avoid people. Like no way.
So you would hold it the whole day just because you wouldn't.
If I could hold it all weekend, I could hold it all day. Easy. They
That's
didn't
so-
have coffee back then, so it's not like I'm gonna be shitting
That's
my pants.
that's crazy. No, I don't even care. I'm peeing on Caesar. I don't care what stat. Yeah, I don't care who. I'm peeing on Caesar. I'm marking my territory. Like I don't care.
Okay. And it's going to be like what? Off with your head? It's going to be into the Coliseum to fight a lion?
Well, no. So they actually had situations where they found traces of graffiti, which basically is like, please don't poop here, or like, please use the bathroom
Please.
somewhere
It's like
else.
those modern day signs of like, please pick up after your dog.
Yeah.
Imagine, ew, stepping in dog is one thing. Imagine stepping in human feces.
Oh God.
That's so nasty.
Oh, dude, that's.
Oh, I'm fighting somebody.
You know what? Actually, okay. So you say that, and that's actually coming up on a really good point. So, all right. So there's other situations where, okay, so you've got the public restroom. People go wherever they want. I talked about the signs.
Heathens.
So of course, people did have private bathrooms where,
That's how
you've got
you're bougie.
yeah. So you got your own bathroom in your house and stuff like that. And So pretty much how it works is so only the rich people had running water. So like you'd have like so it really varied. So like there are certain rich people that like opted to not have like running water because it connects to the main whatever. So the smell from all the public ones can come back into your house.
Okay, yeah.
So
Just
yeah, I
kidding.
mean like it's like
I'm bougie enough that I want my house to smell good. Thank
yeah,
you.
exactly. So you got those situations where like okay, you either can have running water, you got the option if you don't. So the common man, or kind of mostly like more of the poor people, so they just had what are like cesspits. So think of like the hole in the ground. But the best part is those cesspits were located either in the kitchen or right next to the kitchen.
Because outside. Why would outside be an option? Not right outside the
Okay,
door.
so I mean, there's
Not outside the back door. Because hold on.
hygiene was not a number one priority for these people. And so the thing is what they would do, why it was in the kitchen was so you'd have scraps, like you have food scraps and stuff like that. So they treat it like a garbage disposal where like people can go and dispose, their trash, in the
So
same
there's probably,
cesspit.
ew, so it's like moldy food. Mm-hmm. Ew.
Oh, and there, just like the trash man takes out the trash, there was a designated person that would clean out the poop from people's houses. So he would
Police. Police. I'm calling the police. Absolutely not.
That's exactly. So they have those guys that basically have to like. I don't even know how you would do it like without
That's gotta
getting
be.
shit on your
That's
hands.
got to be because gloves in Roman times. No,
No,
that's got to
that's
be
not a
like
thing.
if someone was a prisoner for some reason. Like this is your job. Here you go. This is what you get for being bad. Be a bad boy.
No, but that was a common job. So like there's just like you got your trash guy. I'm sure it's like a poor guy that was doing it, but
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
imagine all the diseases that guy,
Ew.
like your life expectancy, there's no shot that you would even survive.
You have to start doing that at 8 and maybe make it to like 20.
Oh yeah, because
Ew,
dude,
dysentery was E. coli a thing? Like
all that stuff was still
all
existed
of
back
it.
then. Yeah, dude, if I'm cleaning that thing out and
And bleach wasn't a thing.
if one speck of dookie gets on my hand, I'm throwing hands, bro. I'm throwing hands. I kid you not, bro. I'm
because
throwing
then I'm throwing
hands.
up and I have to clean up, throw up, and my hands are covered in. It's like no, you
Nope.
couldn't pay me enough. No.
So that covers the private like homes, and then the last option is so they did have apartments back then. So the way that it works, have you heard of a chamber pot?
Yeah.
So they would have chamber pots, which are those like pots where you basically
Cute
in
little-
your room you just
Yeah. There you
you're,
go.
you're basically crapping in a bucket. So they had chamber pots for the apartments and stuff like that, and then in order to actually get rid of the chamber pot, like you'd either go to a
Just
common cesspit where you would pour it all, and then the other option was you could just pour it out of your window. So
No,
yeah.
full stop. Because imagine you're walking by someone's window and you get splashed with. Oh, you're walking and you get smacked in the face with a turd right in the cheek.
Oh, it wouldn't even be. It would be worse than that because it's mixed with pee and it's mixed with poop. So it's like liquid. It's like liquid shit.
The
just
worst
hitting you in
smoothie
your
you've ever
face.
heard of in your life.
Literally.
Ew.
And I just imagine it being like one of those movies where like they have like all that gunk on their
Ew,
face
like
and you just
Carrie?
like clearing it out and it's like yeah no so
You'd be like the kid in Willy Wonka in the chocolate tube.
oh dude I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes dude.
Ew.
Oh, that's so disgusting.
Ew.
Dude, yeah, hygiene was not a top priority. So I can imagine, dude, thank God we live today.
I wonder who's the first person to make soap. Like, when were they like, I would like to be clean now?
I have no idea. I mean, we could look it up, but even with soap,
Had to have been a girl.
what?
Just saying.
Oh, come on now. There's no.
Because
there's-
girl math is, let me clean this freaking hoo-ha after my Shark Week.
Yeah, but you have
That's
to
where-
invent the technology and all the stuff that goes into it. I'm sure soap's been around before even their era or whatever, stuff like that. Dude, I'm sure they had so many doctor's visits with all like the different stuff. Like, dude, you catch one scratch,
You're done.
your asshole's gonna explode or something, or catch some infection.
Because it's gonna get infected, and then it's all like,
I couldn't even imagine. I literally
No.
could not imagine that. The Roman, let's see. So, for you, Actually, before I even look this up, I have a question on the. So, which one are you choosing? Are you choosing the sponge or are you choosing the seashell? So, one's you got a situation where you have to share it with other people. You can't get your own.
Imagine scraping your balloon knot with a shell.
Which one? Which one are you choosing?
I'm choosing a shell because because think about when you get a sponge wet and then it like presses up against something and then the water drips down. If the water drips down that stick, like I'm ew,
Nah.
because you can't wash your hands. Like
No, so that's what those little things are in the middle, but I don't know if it's really running water.
yeah,
so-
because if everyone else is washing,
yeah.
no.
Dude, that's just a lose-lose situation. For me, I'm
And then you're doing all that, and then you're going home and preparing your food, and like, just
well, I'm
it's a
sure
miracle humans made it this far. Actually, like truly, it's a miracle.
their immune systems had to be crazy back then.
Yeah.
Dude, people today, I wouldn't survive.
No.
I get sick just going on the plane, like in all the air pressure changes, and like I always come back sick off of a flight. I'd be dead. I probably last like 2 days in
You
Rome.
particularly, yeah.
Death by booty hole. Like literally, that's gonna be on my grave. Death by booty hole. So yeah, I'd last like 2 days, guys. Pretty much that's how long I'm lasting.
Oh my god.
And you know, we gotta put that on a shirt.
Death by booty hole. I want it to be like a tombstone. R.I.P. Death by booty hole.
Yes, here he lies. He lasted 2 days in Rome. Time travels all the way back there.
And that could actually be cute because then on the back you could have all the crazy ways that you could die in Roman times.
Oh, or
TM. Hold on. Hold on. That'd be cute.
Dude, and then so it's either or you could have like a situation where they didn't list all of the animals that could have been in there, but I'm sure people had some crazy
An
stories.
octopus is insane. How much more crazy does it get than an octopus?
Would that scare you more than a rat or a snake?
Yes.
Really? Why?
Yes.
It's like,
Rats creep
it's
me
nice.
out.
It's like cupping your balls, you know?
First of all, because they can fit into any hole that their beak can fit through. Do you know what hole they're really close to if they're coming up that freaking?
You think? Wait, really? Like that
They can
tight
fit.
of a space?
They can fit in any space that their beak can fit into because it's the only hard part of their body. So if they can fit their beak through
That's crazy.
anything, yes.
That's crazy.
Much less the fact that of their beak is scary. Like, have you seen an octopus's like face?
No, I don't.
They're
dude,
kind of creepy.
honestly,
like, why do you have a
I'm-
beak?
I'm such
What?
a kid. Like I think of like Squidward or some stuff when I think about an octopus's face. Like I can't.
The
imagine-
restraint it took just then to not start singing the theme song. He is a squid. First of all, his name is
all
Squidward,
right.
not
Hey,
Octoward.
that was a blonde moment, guys. Don't worry.
Octoward. Like,
right.
it doesn't even work.
So I mean, what I would say is, if it were me in that situation, I'm gonna choose the sponge, honestly. Like I hate enough when you've got like single ply and
And
the
your
single
finger
ply is
goes
like,
through
and it's
into-
basically like sandpaper. And like you just like the whole day you're just like you cut yourself or something like that, and that crap hurts. Like it's like the whole time you're like stinging, you're uncomfortable. Like I don't think I could do that. So I mean, I'll take the sponge because at least I know my hole's intact. And so, like, see, you know, Anna,
And choosing-
that's boy math, right?
No,
we
yeah, I was
choose the
gonna
path
say-
of less pain. So we choose the simple route that's not going to be the most painful.
And soft girl math is let me do what's going to be the least disgusting where I can be prim and proper, and you want a sponge that's going to leak all over your
No,
arm.
but think about it. All right, if my booty hole is intact, and I don't have to worry about anything like slicing it. Like it's just think about it. It's just water and maybe like somebody else's dookie.
Clumps
Okay,
of dookie.
that's fine. But I probably won't catch an infection that way. Whereas like if you were to like scrape your butt or whatever using the seashell or whatever the
No,
situation.
because I'm gonna like smooth that. I'm gonna find a way to sand that. I'm gonna find a rock or something and like make it nice and smooth.
I feel like it would just smear all over the place. There's no way that doesn't just the rock doesn't just have like It's like
It's like, you know, those
icing
rubber baking spatulas, how you get
I was
everything.
just about to say
That's
that.
what I meant.
I was literally just about to say that. Like you're just basically you're
No,
smoothing it over like a
because those get
cake.
stuff out of bowls the easiest. They're like, and they get it out.
Dude, I don't. I'd say like it really just depends on. But you're talking about that's if you find the most perfect shell
I'll
possible.
I'll make it.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna be sitting in the corner, like I'll use the tiniest rocks and like find a way to sand it or like, you know what I'm saying, make it smooth.
Yeah.
I'll do something.